All right, music fans, welcome. Harmless Dave here, talking about real music in real time for real people just like you and just like me. So, guess who's back recording new music? Well, he's always recording new music. So, we just caught him on any given day, pretty much. I'm talking about Jeff Scott Soto, right? The guy who could still be in Journey. He just dropped a new song today, and it's kind of holy crap, Batman. It's first, I got to say, it's a weird song, weird, strange. It's got this sitar thing and got some kind of physical graffiti Led Zeppelin thing going on in there. I liked it a lot, though. It's cool. The more you listen to it, the more you're going to like it. Hey, radio programmers, anybody? Bueller, anybody? Some classic rock station out there want to give this thing a spin? No, not going to happen. Some mainstream rock station that are playing like Disturbed all day long, you guys could probably throw on Love is the Revolution, the brand new song from Jeff Scott Soto, which is climbing the charts. It'd be nice, huh? To report on this and say, look at Soto's got a song in the top 40. Or top 40 of what? I don't know, but just the top 40. Brand new album, which will drop the day after Cinco de Mayo. So stock up on Corona Light, whatever your preference. The album is going to be called Complicated and even released on color vinyl and all digital formats. Today's the day where fans get their first taste of new music from the LP with the release of the single and video. And the video is kind of weird too. It's called Love is the Revolution. Soto is really good. All right. Any guy who can sing for Yngwie Malmsteen is probably pretty good. Not to mention Journey. He spent 11 months with the band Journey, and he got his pink slip from Kevin Cronin. Well, Kevin didn't have like a QR code or paperwork or anything like that, but he did, by word of mouth, the old-fashioned way, tell Jeff, hey, dude, did you hear the news? Wow. Talking about, getting your news like the wrong way, or the band should have told him, right? I think that's his big contention, his big beef with everybody right now is just if the band had just said, hey, Jeff, we don't like you, brother. You're not Steve Augeri. We don't like you. Goodbye. But they didn't do that, did they? And, I've kind of struggled to embrace the current Journey lineup for various reasons, but I think I would have struggled less if Soto were in the band all these years. And Jeff is a creative force, but maybe these guys would be too boring for him. You know what I mean? Like, they don't put out a lot of music, whereas Jeff puts out an album every other week, pretty much, right? I mean, you can pretty much bank on the fact that Jeff will show up on a project, every 6 months or so, and they're all really good quality projects. It's not like he's just cranking out material for the sake of doing it, which is kind of sad to me because a lot of these artists just do this, kind of perfunctory, hey, we're going to put out an album because we're a band and we have to put out an album and we want to stay relevant, yada, yada. We heard Ann Wilson saying she wanted to stay relevant. So she wanted to kind of push the envelope a little bit. And I can respect some of that, except for the fact that Heart fans want to hear you guys doing some Heart music, In the case of Soto, I guess he's got the freedom to be really creative. So if he were still in Journey, he'd only be putting out an album every 10 years, right? So I don't think that is Jeff's speed. I think Jeff likes to work a lot. He really believes in putting out albums in the studio, and good for him. The record label really embraces what he does, and so I think that makes for really good projects. Also, he's got great musicians. This guy, Fabrizio Sagatoni, sounds like, an Italian dish. Hey, give me the Sagatoni over here. the nice bottle of Chianti, right? So also Alessandro Del Vecchio. So it's Italians and Puerto Ricans here. That's what the lineup is. Pretty cool. So you're going to get, a good dose of what? Spanish, Mediterranean testosterone. Jeff Scott Soto looks the part of the rock star, would still be amazing on stage if he were with the band Journey. And there was a little back and forth between Neil Schon and Jeff Scott Soto a couple of months ago, because Jeff did this interview and they got onto the topic, like if Jeff was on this show, which he has been once, which I'm thinking maybe Jeff needs to come back so we can talk about his new album and just life in general. But anyway, so he was basically telling the guy, I still don't know. They didn't ever tell me why I got fired. And then Neil Schon went on a show and gave, I think, the corporate answer, but then said something like, yeah, Jeff's just looking for some PR. Now, I will say this, even if that were true, so what? Jeff deserves some PR, right? That's the way I look at this. Jeff Scott Soto deserves to get some press and some airtime because he's really good. I mean, Trans-Siberian Orchestra, hello. I mean, look, there is singing, right? And then there's the kind of singing that Jeff Scott Soto does. This kind of classically trained, feels like it goes back to some medieval time, and Jeff's alone somewhere on a mountaintop. Here I am. I'm opining for no particular reason on this, and he's just belting out, and you can hear it echoing down in the valley. It's just it's very like majestic and classical, and like there's a sense of almost like the Ronnie James Dio kind of vocals, or I don't know, somebody in that area of vocal skills. I don't know. I think Jeff is a big fan of Dio, right? Or the late Ronnie James Dio. But there are, few vocalists in today's sort of melodic rock scene. When I say sort of, because it's sort of a scene here in the United States. But there are very few that really capture the spirit of what rock could be. There's like a progressive element to what Soto does. There's a straightforward element to it. There's a hard rocking element to it. But this new song, which is really weird, I'm just going to say that it's a weird tune, but I like it a lot. I mean, it's not that weird. I'm just trying to make you go and listen to it. That's my job here. So go listen to the new song by Jeff Scott Soto. Think about how he could still be in the band Journey today and have great chemistry with everybody up there, including Dean Castronovo, who was one of his bandmates back in 2007. Yeah, I'm kind of losing track of time. But Soto is a busy guy. You look at some of the albums he's come out with recently: Retribution, Wide Awake in My Dreamland, then the Duets collection. And that doesn't include his work with other bands, including Trans-Siberian and also Soul Circus, Sons of Apollo, Wet. Don't forget about Wet. That's another amazing band. I mean, this guy, he's just a busy dude, and good for him. That's the way he stays relevant, because he creates and he's top notch at what he does. So in any event, if you're into ex-Journey vocalists and you're trying to follow them, Steve Augeri is out there still. And Steve Perry, he's supposedly going to come out with a record. And everybody's like, Dave, what's Steve Perry up to? I bet you he took a ride in the convertible today, and he probably went down to the ice cream parlor, and he probably got at least one scoop, maybe two scoops, right? So then he goes back to the studio, and if he wants to create something for the day, he can. He doesn't have to do much. Here's why: Journey's back on tour. When Journey goes on tour, Steve Perry gets a cut of the action. I bet you Jeff Scott Soto wishes he could have gotten a little piece of the action. Unfortunately, he wasn't there long enough. And I'm pretty sure he was just a hired gun. And unlike Steve Smith and Ross Valerie, he wasn't able to cash out. but Steve Perry, he's still making bank every single time these guys go out on tour. So when you're selling out an arena, going to see Journey, think of the fact that tonight's another night that Steve Perry is going to do really well financially. All right, that's my fun and weird video, much like the new song by Jeff Scott Soto. Again, let me plug it. Gotta plug it. Brand new album coming out the day after Cinco de Mayo, and it is Love is the Revolution. That's the song. The album is called Complicated, which is really good. It'll be the 8th official studio album from veteran hard rock vocalist Jeff Scott Soto. So there you have it. Great stuff. Thanks for watching. See you soon.